Guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm going to be talking about a couple ways that you can minimize single strand knots and split ends. I don't want to say eliminate because honestly, if your hair is natural, you can eliminate single strand knots. Like, it's bound to happen at some point, but there are ways to prevent them. Single strand knots and split ends were something that I dealt with for a long time. It contributed a lot to me not retaining length like I should, and once I started to implement these tips that I'm about to share into my routine, I definitely started to notice a difference in my hair and my ends. So if you're interested, then just keep on watching. So like I said, if your hair is curly, if your hair has any type of texture to it, then single strand knots and split ends are kind of inevitable, like it's bound to happen. But one thing that you can do to at least minimize them is to moisturize your hair. I know it sounds super redundant because I say it all the time, but literally moisture is your friend. So making sure that you're using a moisturizer that is water-based. Water better be the first ingredient, and make sure that you're sealing that moisture in with an oil or a butter, whatever works for you. But you really want to make sure that you're concentrating the moisturizer on your ends, really working it in. Add a little more if you need to, because especially if your hair is out, it's always going to be brushing up against something. So you want to keep it from drying out, and you want it to keep it from breaking off or splitting or knotting and things like that. So hydration and moisturizing is key. I was that person for a while that thought I could get away with moisturizing my hair once a week. Let me know in the comments how many times a week you moisturize your hair, because I'm really curious. Because for me, in my experience, I cannot moisturize my hair once a week. Maybe if it's in a protective style, but if I'm doing a twist out or something where my hair is basically like this, my hair is not going to stay moisturized. It's just not. I have high porosity hair, so retaining moisture is something that I have to do more often. But your hair could be different. Like I always say, listen to your hair. If it still feels like it's moisturized, good. You don't need to do it as soon. But if you feel like it's not feeling as juicy and as moisturized as it was, it's time to re-moisturize your hair. You may not have to do your whole LCO method. That's what I do for my hair. Sometimes I just spray a little leave-in in there, a little oil, and then twist it back up or whatever. Whatever you have to do, you know, make sure you moisturize your hair. So my second tip that was an absolute game changer for me was stretching my hair. I went to my stylist because I just needed a trim, and I was telling her the issues that I was experiencing with my hair, and she's like, well, do you stretch it? And I was like, no, should I be? And she's like, yes, mainly because our hair is curly, coily. It likes to, you know, ravel up and mingle with each other. I was using a blow dryer to stretch my hair, and then I would usually do my twist outs or my braid outs or whatever I was doing to my hair. Up until recently, I started noticing that my ends were see-through. It didn't look cute. I needed to get rid of those ends. My hair is high porosity, like I mentioned, so I was doing it basically every wash day, and that was too much for my hair. So if you're going to use heat to stretch it, make sure you use it in moderation. But there are definitely other ways that you can stretch your hair without it. I made a whole video about it. I think it's called 5 Ways to Stretch Your Hair, something like that. I'll leave it in the description bar if you're looking for alternatives. Also, if you're the type of person that likes to wear wash and goes often, or if you like to style your hair while it's wet, if you're struggling with single strand knots and split ends, you might want to reevaluate, you know, how you're styling your hair, because especially in a wash and go, our hair gets tangled a lot easier. Even styles like this, like styling my hair on while it's wet, can eventually contribute to single strand knots. So I have to do this in moderation. If I'm going to do a twist out, I have to make sure that I stretch my hair first and that it's not completely wet when I'm styling it. It makes all the difference. I'm telling you. So my third tip is to trim your hair as needed. Like I said before, split ends are gonna come. You're gonna get some knots. We have natural hair. It's curly. It's just gonna happen. So holding on to your split ends and things like that. Like, there are products on the market that help to keep your hair from splitting, but I don't think there's anything out there that's going to actually mend your split ends. Like, the only way to get rid of them is to trim them off. So make sure you do it as needed. If you're feeling like it's getting harder to detangle, if you actually see the knots and you see the splits, high sign to get your hair trimmed. My fourth tip is to take advantage of protective styles, the ones that are actually protecting your hair, the styles that are keeping your hair tucked away. Basically, a protective style is any style where your ends aren't exposed. Make sure it's not too tight, that your ends are tucked away, that your hair is moisturized, that it's sealed, and things like that. I have a whole playlist on it, so make sure you check that out as well. And my fifth tip is I know we all have those lazy moments when we're tired and your hair is basically like this, in a twist out or a braid out or something like that. I know you don't want to twist your hair up every night. I don't either. Trust me, I don't either. But instead of just plopping a bonnet on and just going to bed, I recommend just separating your hair so that it's not getting all squished in together, because believe it or not, your hair might start tangling up. So if you have to put it, like, section it off, maybe 2 low ponytails, 2 on the side or whatever, to separate your hair from tangling up on itself, do that. Or you could wear a pineapple with a bonnet on top, whatever works for you. But I find that I can't really just slap a bonnet on and go to sleep, because my hair is just going to be pressed up against my head and probably most likely going to tangle up. That's just a little bonus tip for you guys. I hope that this video was helpful, because I know split ends and single strand knots are annoying. They don't want our hair to flourish. They don't want us to be great. But hopefully these tips will help you to retain length and to keep those ends on your head. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!